Hi, it's the girl out there right here with you. It's me, Cindy, with
Dear Diary.
and this week we are all set for Halloween. And if for those of you who are going to be watching the little clip, Dear Diary looks amazing. Dear Diary.
Well, the compliment is returned to you, my friend. That is some serious volume you got in that wig.
Yeah, you know, it's
a bit of wig envy.
It's all to hide the ears underneath.
Well, it's worth it.
Yes, you
But,
know.
yeah, you don't even need to say that. I think it just looks fabulous, saucy.
Yeah, you know.
Perhaps I could do a description of you, and you could do a description of me for those of us who can't see us right now.
I think that would be amazing. Go.
Okay. So, our dear Cindy is wrapped in a skeleton bodysuit.
Yes.
Not only is it a skeleton bodysuit, there are butterflies in the abdominal area.
Yes.
Represent butterflies in your stomach. But of course, butterflies are always symbolic for Cindy. So it's very ironic that she didn't notice those prior to thing online. Anyway, she's also wearing a hairpiece. So classy, I can't call it a wig. That is red at the roots and moves to an orangey yellow at the bottom, like an ombre expensive salon coloring, and a little top hat coated with cobwebs. It's priceless. It's one of your best. One of your best ones.
And don't forget my ring. Can you see it?
Oh, I can't see your ring. Oh, you gotta be real close. Oh, a knuckle ring. Is it moving?
It's a spider.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There. Oh. Looks like it was moving. I had my screen bigger than yours for a minute. That was a bad idea. There we go. That's so much better.
That is so good. I'm going to definitely start with describing you. I'm just really excited that I'm actually seeing you. This is the first time we are doing our podcast via Zoom. So I actually am going to be entertained this whole time, just listening to you and watching you. It's just so exciting. Okay. So Dear Diary Stephanie is, she is wearing a circus costume with the most amazing gold broad shoulders. She can dance, tassel her shoulders, which she's doing right now. And it's got such great accents. It's like got her little
I should
yeah, right there. Yeah. It's just it's right there at her chest line. It's, what do you call that? Like the little things right here, like it's
I think it would be the coattails.
The coattails. Yes.
If it was a man wearing the
So you've got your coattails, and then you have the best, which I know you can only show us spacing forward, the best hot red wig, which matches your red coattail top, and it's the little tiny bob down wig, and the hottest red lips, which are it's so good, you know. And the fact go.
Oh, I was going to say, it's this time of day getting dressed up in your costume is so different from getting up ready at nighttime.
I know. Yeah. And we both have these top hats on, which I just think is so amazing. Naturally. But watching you, just when the Zoom came on and then you were there, I was like, oh.
Who is this freak? Who should be doing a freak circus?
I know.
Show, perhaps.
And so just every time it just makes me so excited that we are just, and the fact that as soon as I was getting my costume on, my children don't even react. They're just like, oh yeah, she's just getting her costume.
Yeah, my kids did not a lot, not a huge reaction. It was more like, oh, Mom, you look like the Greatest Showman. I was like, yes, I do. Thank you very much.
It's so good. Yeah. And I and welcome back. We are here, season 2. Yeah.
We've got it over the visual descriptions. Yes, I am so excited to be back. I legitimately got really excited for today. I was like, oh, we're doing it again.
We are here. We are doing it. And starting right in October, which is my second favorite season, obviously Christmas being my first, but I just love this. My house is all decorated for Halloween. And so obviously we had to be in costume.
Yes, it's early, but that
Well,
is the way you do it.
When this airs, this will not even be that early. It'll just be 5 days prior. So it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, be late otherwise.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And now we are all ready for Halloween.
Yes.
Exactly how it's going to come together.
It's so true.
So grab your best friend, folks. Decide on Halloween costume and then surprise them on a FaceTime chat. Super fun.
That is such a good idea. I just think, you know what? Just show up dressed like this.
So no explanation.
No. Randomly. And everyone should know I was actually sitting upstairs by my window when we were going to start this call. And I was sitting up there with my window open, and there were some people walking their dog. You could just see them both all like, what is going on?
Yes, just me. Zero cares. You don't care.
I just don't care.
You would probably go walk a dog right now.
I would go walk my dog and would be fine.
Maybe throw a tutu on top.
And that's how well you know me, because I actually have an orange tutu, and I thought this would really complement this outfit, and also, cover up the bone private parts a little bit too, so that, I'd be a little,
family friendly.
The things I was thinking of.
Reading each other's minds.
Always.
As always. Yes. As always. So we should talk about kind of where the craziness that is your life for the last little while, why we've been on break, and what we've got to look forward to.
Yes, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I mentioned that in the little season opener that I since we left, it hasn't quite stopped. I would say you've been so, well, as always, just part of that, helping me trust that I can do this. Left my job and kind of went into a whirlwind of what the hell?
Yeah. Well, like you said to James, who was on last week?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, first name drop. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, just you're in the mud, growing.
Yeah.
Right now, you're germinating in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
making your magic even stronger.
I think there's been probably I know there were probably weeks where I couldn't even text you, and that's so not like us.
Yeah. It was I've never been, no, our relationship has never gone through that before.
Yeah.
That was full in intensity, and it was difficult because there really wasn't anything anybody could do for you to help, other than, like you say, people, where drop off some meals once in a while, or maybe help you with a ride for your kids. I don't know. But other than that, like, it was all on you. Like, there was no real, if only I had, like, it was just you. So, and you accepted that, and you moved through it as gracefully as possible. And, I'd get the odd text would be pictures of your nail polish completely peeled off, other than one little stripe. But just demonstrations of where you were at, and you didn't need to say anything. And I knew where you were at, and because ultimately, by near the end of the peak, I started taking on some of your energy too, I feel like. And I remember saying to a colleague, like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I'm just really uptight and everything, like, vibrating up here. And then it clicked, and I was like, oh, Cindy, I feel Cindy right now. That must be what it is, because there was no other thing going on in my life. So anyway, it was nice. It was nice in a way that I was like, maybe I'm taking a little bit off the plate right now, but here we are. You're getting through it, grinding your way through, and making more magic every day, every hour, every minute that passes. So
yes,
it's all an investment. That's what you kept reminding yourself, and I kept reminding you when there were those brief moments when we could connect. But
yes, it's definitely, I know, definitely. I think that one of those times where there would be nights where I was like, "Oh, what am I doing?"
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you were finishing up one life,
Yes.
to another, and all the while missing where your heart is
Yeah.
with your blissful business. So anyway,
Yes.
all in the direction of making blissful more blissful.
Yes. So yeah, I think I feel like it's a big reminder for people when they're wanting to find new elements of themselves, that it won't always be easy, and that it does, like, I look at it as this curve of the last 7 or 8 years, and all of the things I've learned, and all of the little tools that I've taken over that period of time to go, okay, well, today I'm going to try this, or today I'm going to do something else, to get me to that point of knowing, okay, this is what I need. And your reminders of like, nope, you're really solid. So you can do all of these pieces. And so that's kind of, yeah, where we're at. And I can see it all sort of coming together, and knowing that then I'll learn something new and grow again. And I'm very aware there's going to be another massive shift in my life, probably in another 10 years, and I'll go through it again. And that's
Sure.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, the reason I bring this up is for other people to understand that,
yeah,
sometimes to get there, it's a little ugly, right? And I mean, your first episode was about too.
Yes.
Obviously, but I did just want to touch on that, and
yes,
everyone and you, that talking about it is like, yeah, it's hard, but you don't just walk into the empty soccer stadium and kick a goal in and say I won. That doesn't feel good. It's the journey to get there, right?
yes,
makes it that much more satisfying when it comes.
Totally. And I think that's what I constantly remind myself of, like, okay, it looks so easy to some people, but knowing it's been a lot of a process.
And this will just be a drop in the bucket in no time. Yeah.
In no time. Yep. So that's where we're at. And I think we can also look at the countdown. I mean, definitely lots of interesting things happening in the world. Changes are happening. A lot of things are happening for people energetically, which you and I've talked about. I think that you and I are looking at different things for ourselves, talking about maybe exploring breath work, which I think will be really cool. I think that's something for us. And it looks like we may actually be able to go on a trip, which looks like that'll be so good.
Fingers
crossed. I know. So I don't
stay where you are.
Just need to get there. So what
I'm sick of talking about the pandemic, but I feel like it's in the last month or so, since school's kind of back on, it's just learning to live with COVID, right? Like, it's not, we're kind of accepting that it's not going anywhere anytime fast, but we're just learning to still live with it. And that has felt a little bit better.
That's exactly the way I've learned. I'm trying to accept it now and seeing it in a new way. And I think that's it's an interesting thing now. I mean, and not to get into it too much, but now looking at like online dating, and and every single one, you look at it like they'll be on there like vaccinated, like they're putting like that's their online profile.
We need.
And you just think, gosh, it's such an interesting way of like dating and life. Like, it's just become like the conversations.
Birthday invitation, it's over, and I was like, my husband and I are both vaccinated. Like, I just feel like I want to know before I send my kids somewhere, so I should probably.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's kind of uncomfortable at first, but I think we'll get used to it, and it's the way it'll be. And hopefully it'll be divide us too far. before.
Well, any interesting conversations, and I'm okay to have these conversations on the podcast, but it's interesting conversations even for our children. They're learning to have these conversations as well. So, and how they go forward with it, what they feel like, and, you know, saying it even to my kids, like where they're talking about it in classes and learning. I think they're much more comfortable with it than we are. So everything, right? So
Yeah, it's just talking about kids for a minute. I was listening to you and James last week, and just felt this enormous moment of, I don't know if I call it enlightenment or awareness. Awareness is probably more it, when he talked about how you know, we basically mold our children until they're 9, and everything they've watched and everything. And I was like, oh God, really should have been thinking about that a lot more. First 9 years of their lives, like they might need a lot of hypnotherapy down the road.
It is like, it's a fascinating thing, which I mean, definitely
I mean,
knowing.
you can't stop and think about that every parenting moment.
No. And
But,
some people, it is, I mean, that's my background is obvious, which I don't talk about here a lot, but my background's in child and youth care. And that's what I studied. So I knew that, but then you don't think about it in the moment with your own children. And all the times you say things to know. And when I'd said he had this amazing chart, it was this clear division that I could see when I spoke with him, right? About how our conscious mind, and it's almost like a trap door, right? Like that, the division, and that they don't have that before. So the opportunity to allow them to have this space of growing and going like, oh, all those things that we do. And it's not, I don't
blame yourself, and
no
doing their best.
Yes.
Whatever it is, but everybody's always just doing their best. So really, is there an opportunity to do better than what you did? Probably not.
No.
Maybe there would have been a few moments you could have exchanged for better words, or I don't know, but reactions, whatever. But ultimately you got to live. But it was just that moment of like, oh God, right. It's done now. It's all done.
Yeah.
My kids just turned 11. So they're just done.
They're pretty much finished. But it is that idea of knowing, like, okay, but as he said, there's always choice. Because when I was saying, and my idea of what I want to do for Blissful is opening up an experience for children so that they can trust back to their intuition and, keep that open and expand it. And as he's saying, we always have the choice. We have the choice to go in and the choice to make those changes. And I really like that, because we can go back and work through those things that had happened to us or thoughts that we created in our own head, or ideas. And so the more we can do that, even with, like, I work with a lot of teenagers now, and being able to just say, okay, reframe that thought, reframe the way you're looking at that. And know that perhaps that was something that happened when you were a child, or the way you looked at it, but understanding that perhaps your parents, they express love in a different way than you need. And so with them, even hearing that, they go, oh, okay, you're right. So that they're not placing blame always on their parents. They just understand that they need it in a different way.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. I actually just had the love language conversation with my children the other day.
Oh.
Well, I was just talking about how people have different love languages, yada, yada. Because you had brought up there's all these new love languages.
Yes.
I'm still down to the basic 5, but they tuned me out, I think. But I feel like, as long as I give the little tidbits at a time, eventually stuff sticks, right?
Of course. And the more we have it, right, and allowing them to hear it, and the way you can say it to them, it's knowing that they do want to hear that, right? We often will just say they're children, they're busy, but bringing them into it to say, this is the way I express it, or right? Like, Chase will often say, my son, he'll say, Mom, like, I can't hear your words right now. Like, that's too much. And so I'll say, okay, like, so right now he needs space. So he'll say, I'll come back to you when I can talk. So I want to fix everything right away. So it's me
Yeah.
learning that that's
Yeah.
how he needs time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, super interesting that how they can all be so different.
Yes.
Like, I raised you. Shouldn't we have the same love language?
What, you and your child?
Yeah, that's what like that's kind of where I think
I
about
know.
it.
Yes.
You don't receive love the same way I do.
I know.
I meet everything with anger and yelling, apparently.
I just want to fix it with all my words.
Yeah, exactly. She want to just or ignore you under the other. I'm not sure.
The trauma love language, though. I've been sharing that with so many of my clients. It's just so, and I'm not taking credit for that. That is the holistic psychologist, which so many people follow, but so profound to be able to say, like, you don't have to have huge trauma in your life, but to be able to understand that this, and that's part of the new 5 love languages, but to be able to say, I understand where my trauma came from, and this is where your trauma came from. So I respond this way is such a deep way to be able to share with a partner, to say, you know what, when things happen, this is what I do. And it's based on my past trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a, well, it's powerful.
It's very powerful. So it allows people to go like, whoa, she's not just angry. It's deeper rooted.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Cool. So cool. And the other word that stuck with me a lot when you guys were chatting was worth.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, you can really like narrow just about everything down.
I know.
In so many ways, right? Like, so I was like, no, I'm good. I feel worthy of just about everything. And then I was like, no, I don't actually. And it was just like, just that little conversation. I was like, yeah, no, that's right. I definitely feel weird about certain things because it just doesn't feel worthy, like, and I don't know where that comes from. I'm sure I could have a session and figure it out, but yeah,
that's it
for everyone, right?
Yes. And so it's interesting to see you say that in your red wig, but
I do feel worthy of my $9.99 wig.
But
I didn't browse around the store or anything. I went right in. Just got this.
But that is, I think, where even when I was doing emotion code for myself, right, which is the different modality, but even where I was sitting there or standing and doing muscle testing, very similar, and feeling like I knew my worth in certain ways, and then asking myself questions, and the response was no. I was confident that the response I was going to get was yes. Am I worthy of, doing this work? Am I worthy of supporting other people? Do I feel confident? No. So then answering back going, I just answered no. So then if I really look at that and go, okay, something within me doesn't feel worthy of this. And so often then we'll push it away and go, well, okay, well, oh, that's silly, or of course. But if you really sit with that and think, well, why don't I feel worthy of it? And so then it's answering those questions, because we've been taught to say, oh, come on, of course you are, or that's silly.
Yeah, exactly. Move on, push
through it. Yeah.
Don't ignore that because it's negative, or
it's a negative.
Yeah.
But yet if you really go, well, hang on, it's okay. There's something there. Sit with it.
Yeah.
And sit with that uncomfortable feeling for you. Sit with it. And then when you sit with that uncomfortable feeling and know that it's just within you, and there's a reason why you feel that way, it doesn't have to be about anyone else. Like, I think for me, then I immediately want to protect other people. Like if something bubbles,
you.
And then so if something bubbles up, I might hurt somebody. Like I might hurt somebody in my family, and I don't want to. Like if I have a feeling that might, and so I think, oh, well, everybody was great, so I don't want to.
Yeah, let's not upset the apple cart.
Let's not upset anyone. And so then I will just, so then it's me going like, no, I just need to understand where that comes from so I can honor it, so that actually I'll be better for myself. And that's where our worth is, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that's so huge.
Yeah.
So huge. Yeah. All the little things. All the little
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Love it.
He's just come, it's an interesting thing, right? Where we didn't get into, I was saying to you, like his tone is so soft. He's
Mhm.
come so far in that he doesn't have to, he can take such time with his words, right? He can just be at ease with his thoughts, and really reflecting on the fact that he was a police officer, and that wanting all of that high ego job for so long.
Yeah.
And then to be able to go as a man, which I know the man, women, but to take all of that away and kind of be in this
Yeah.
space.
Strip it down. No,
Yeah.
it's not many people could make that transformation. So
No.
It's a lot of work, and a lot
of
courage is more like it, right? Just like
yes.
to just take it away and figure it out from way back.
And knowing that it doesn't always have to be, and this is the heart, which we've talked about, but not from this life. Like that's
yes, even other lives that you're carrying around, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So basically we're all really, really messed up, and the whole game of life is figuring it all out. And I don't mean that in like a bad way, but like, just, you kind of just journeying through, and all these little nuggets that you gain along the way are part of the journey, the survival, the survivor game.
It's one of those things that I hear all the time, is that the true journey is the unlearning. All you're doing is just unlearning. Everything that you've been taught before is just to unlearn it, and unlearn it, to the point where, I mean, the ultimate goal is that you're just basically sitting there going like, like in silence.
But but I guess like I what is that, like, is that really the ultimate goal, to sit in silence, like non-reactionary,
well, I mean, you would, for us, that would be very philosophical now. I know we're getting really deep. For us,
after a while,
for us, we're in costumes and we enjoy we're still in this space of like, our egos are quite attached and we like this space, but the ultimate journey would be that we wouldn't crave the material items anymore, and that we wouldn't need it. And so we would get to the space of like, just, we wouldn't need it.
Sounds no fun there. That I just want more costumes. And absolutely.
So your sign there was like, no way.
I don't think that is my goal. Is that we need to do a lot more work, because this is really fun to me and things we like. But I guess if I didn't want this anymore, I would want other things more.
That might be like 6 lives from now.
Okay, right.
Don't worry.
I'll think about that one for a while and get back to you next podcast to see if I'm still on board with the goal of life.
We're still really enjoying.
I feel like I'm taking a headshot here too. So
I know, right?
watching yourself is difficult. It's a little distracting.
I know. That's the hard part, because I'm just really enjoying this. Like,
it would, but you can't make the camera go away in case you realize you start like picking your face or something.
I know.
Back to my so-called life and lack of goals, to be less superficial, and want real things. Anyway, I mean, that's huge. I mean, obviously it would take a lot to get there.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not getting, I'm going to tell you, we're not getting to a calm. I'll intuitively tell you we're staying in this realm for.
Okay, good. No, I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
You don't know better until you know better. So it's awesome.
Look at all the quotes you're saying. That's all that matters.
I said to my husband today, it's like, you know how all the leaves are turning now and you get these really intense weather. And like every time I go for my forest baths lately, I'm like, I want to be a poet right now. Like, I want to, like, I think of all these, like, how many descriptive words there are for this season, like intense colors and the sounds and the, I'm gonna try one day.
I can only imagine his face when you said after your forest bath, I want to be a poet.
My words to him were more like, I feel like if I were an artist, this would be my most inspired time of year.
I really wish you'd said that coming back in with that wig and top hat on.
I have creative, I love being creative, but my creativity is not necessarily in traditional ways like poetry and painting and whatever.
Yes.
I like putting together an outfit.
Yes.
I like trying new recipes. I like redecorating a room. That's really
well, next week, we forgot to say what I wanted to put in our top hats.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So this is what's going to happen now for season 2. I got distracted by my ears for a second. So I felt like we needed a little bit of a twist so that we are going to have ideas come in to the top hat or the magic hat. We're calling it the magic hat. Woohoo! And so and we can start it off, but I was thinking it would be things that you and I have to do on the podcast.
Yeah.
And the example was week 1 was going to be we each are going to have to there's going to be samples of ideas of braids that we have to do for our hair, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put a whole bunch of them, different types of braids in this hat. And then without trying or looking, I'm going to pull one out and we're going to have is it 1 minute? Do you think? I think it needs to be like 1 minute.
Oh yeah. I suppose we should probably not listeners wait too long.
They can't wait too long. Well, we have some music playing and then we have to try to put this in our hair. It's just basically going to be intuitive skills.
Yeah. We're going to just tap into that.
We're going to tap in and we're going to see
our magical, untrained stylist hands.
Yep.
Can do with hair. Yeah.
It's going to be like hair. It might be like putting new makeup skills. Like what do they talk about? Those things that they do on their face? Like
injection. Oh, like highlighter. I don't think we should play with injections.
Not injections. It would be like highlighters, like different ways that they do makeup nowadays. I think all that. And then we can have different ideas in the Magic Hat every week. So people can send their ideas in and we just have to basically try it on the podcast.
Okay. I love it.
It's going to be great because you and I don't always care and we're going to give it a go. Actually, I really don't care. So it's going to.
Yeah. And we need more silly.
We need silly. We need silly.
Less fires and pandemics and we need more ridiculous.
We need some ridiculous. So we are willing to put ourselves out there and give it a go.
Challenge us, guys. Send us a challenge.
It's going to be challenges.
We won't know. Well, Cindy will have to know because they'll probably go to your account and then
it'll go into the account, but I won't. We will pull it out and I won't look. And you know me, I will not try.
No, exactly.
It'll be fun. Yes. Okay.
Well, to be had, folks.
Yes. What are you having for dinner? I'm just curious.
Oh, I think I shouldn't say I think. I know it's pork loin roast. Yeah, potatoes. I love this season's food. Gotta say, all foods are my favorites. Comfort,
great.
Coziness. How about you?
I don't know.
Cheese again?
Probably cheese. Maybe some
Maybe somebody will
pasta.
door.
Maybe somebody will knock on the door.
You know what? Just surprise.
If I put it out there, somebody might knock on the door.
Wave my coattails and see what happens.
Aw,
Maybe if you walk around in your skeleton outfit, people might give you candy.
they could, or they'd be like, "Oh, she's really skinny.
Oh, she's quite thin. You run off.
She's so bony." Aw. Well, this is lovely. Happy Halloween edition, and so glad we're back.
Hocus pocus.
Yes.
Go.
Thank you.
We love you.
Love you.
Bye.